Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, June 29th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's edition of AEW Dynamite, broadcast live on TBS from the First Ontario Centre in Hamilton, Ontario. The main event saw Sting and Darby Allin defeat Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara in a Tornado Tag Team match, with Jericho tapping out to Sting's Scorpion Deathlock.
Sting avoids. Got it. Death drop. He's hit it. Covering. He might get it. Sting might get it. He might get it. And no! Oh, man. They just keep coming back. I don't think anybody's ever kicked out a Scorpion Death drop before. I've never seen it, and I've been around forever. But Sting, back up to his feet, back on the assault. Jericho with the boot. Codebreaker attempted. Sting. Oh, boy, that's the problem for Jericho. There he's got it. Turn it over. The Scorpion Deathlock is cinched in.
The match featured a spot in which the 64-year-old Sting leapt from the top of a ladder out of the ring and onto Guevara, putting him through a ringside table. Jon Moxley, on behalf of the Blackpool Combat Club, challenged the Elite to a Blood and Guts tag team match to take place on the July 19th edition of Dynamite from Boston. The challenge was issued following a victory for Adam Page and the Young Bucks over John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Evil Uno of the Dark Order. Moxley also saw action in the opening match, beating Tomohiro Ishii. Eddie Kingston clashed with Moxley during the match, coming down to ringside to neutralize Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. In other results, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, and Hijo del Vikingo defeated Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and Daniel Garcia, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry delivered a promo explaining his recent heel turn on Hook at Forbidden Door.
Hook, you're a fraud. I never needed you. Jungle Hook was special because of me. The last time that I was in a tag team, I was a world champion, and you were lucky to ever stand next to me in a ring. Shut up!
Perry's promo was interrupted by Hook, who chased him out of the building. In ratings news, last Tuesday's edition of NXT experienced a 20% drop in total audience on the USA Network, falling to 622,000 from last week's 773,000, according to Showbuzz Daily. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was also down 25%, falling from 0.23 to 0.17 and representing 220,000 viewers, according to WrestleNomics. The episode ranked number 2 on the cable 150 for the evening in the key demographic. This week's Money in the Bank Go Home episode of Monday Night Raw brought in an average of 1.973 million viewers to the USA Network, up 8% from last week's 1.821 million, according to Showbuzz Daily. In the hourly breakdown, Hour 1 drew 2.074 million, which dipped slightly to 2.043 million in Hour 2, then fell to 1.803 million for the final hour, marking a cumulative loss of 271,000 viewers over the course of the show. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was 0.61, up from last week's 0.56, and translating to 791,000 viewers, according to WrestleNomics. The show once again ranked number 1 for the night on the cable 150 in the key demo. Last Saturday's second episode of Collision lost more than 25% of its audience from the premiere episode, bringing in 595,000 viewers to TNT, after the previous week's 816,000, according to Showbuzz Daily. The key demographic rating dropped more than a third, going from 0.33 to 0.21 and representing 272,000 viewers, according to WrestleNomics. The episode came in 5th place on the cable 150 for the evening in the key demo, down from 3rd place for the premiere episode. And in ticket sales news, tonight's AEW Collision taping in Hamilton, Ontario had 1,989 tickets distributed for the First Ontario Centre as of Tuesday night, according to a WrestleTix report, with a 3,083-seat setup that left 1,094 tickets still available. Tonight's Collision taping is the second of 2 back-to-back nights at the First Ontario Centre, with last night's Dynamite taping taking place there as well. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.